Welcome to Making Music. My name's Dan Aroney, and I'm your host this week, and that certainly was Making Music. Let me introduce the band to you real quick that we got together for this. These are actually four of the teachers at Showcase Musical Institute. Let's start with Haroon, teaches guitar, Tim Allen on bass, Rick Allegri on drums, and Russ. This was your song.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about this song that you wrote?
Yeah, the song is called The Endless Journey. It's the title track for my CD that'll be coming out sometime in the next few months. Basically, it's about how music is an endless journey. It's kind of like the concept of the song. It's never ending. Once you open one door, there's 10 more doors to go through. So basically, you're always learning as a musician and trying to strive to.
Great song.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk a little bit of each of you guys, and I'm going to start with Tim, the bass player.
Great.
When did you get started in playing?
Well, I started playing trumpet when I was in third grade.
That's a good start.
Yeah, and then I didn't start playing bass until I was like 18 years old. So I didn't. I went through a period in high school I didn't play anything. I played trumpet a little bit, then I quit, and then I started up again about when I was 18.
Now, what was the first bass that you ever bought?
First bass that I ever bought, I bought from a friend of mine down the street for $10. And the first actual real bass I bought from you, Guitar Showcase. Yeah, a Fender Precision.
We're dating ourselves now.
Yeah, a Fender Precision bass. And that was the first like professional sort of instrument that I bought.
Now you teach at Guitar Showcase at
Yeah.
Showcase Musical Institute. You're basically bass. Is there anything else you teach?
I teach ukulele. Should there ever be a ukulele student, I do teach ukulele, but mostly bass.
And how many students are you carrying right now?
I usually have somewhere between 20 and 30. Right now about 30, so my schedule's pretty full.
Yeah. How about bands that you've played in?
I've played in a lot of different bands. Currently I'm playing with a band, actually with Russ, called The Switch, and then I play in a country band called Silver Creek. And then I play
And
with
you
various...
guys have been around now. That
Silver Creek?
You played at Saddle Rack, I know.
Just played the Gilroy Garlic Festival. We played
you did
festivals
down there. Okay,
and fairs.
You're all over the place. But
Yeah.
you used to be, weren't you the house band for a while at Saddle
At Saddle
Rack?
Rack, yeah, that was
when they were in San
probably
Jose?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
We were the house band at Saddle Rack.
And now they're moved up to Fremont, of course.
Yeah, and we still play
and
there.
you're still playing.
There's another, in fact, you had Paul Jones, a good friend of mine, who was on one of the early shows.
Yeah.
And he's in the house band currently, and we're in a band because they have two bands a night there on the weekends.
Yeah.
So we play there also.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How about gigs? Like, what are some of the biggest gigs you've played?
Well, I've played the Shoreline Amphitheater a couple times.
Well, that's big enough.
Yes.
that qualifies.
That was the most recent. I played there in May.
Uh-huh.
That was with Silver Creek.
Yeah.
Playing with this country guy, Brad Paisley. And
Oh, that's a great gig.
yeah, and I've done, I should have written them down, I can't remember.
No, that's
done
good.
millions of gigs all over the place.
How about gear? Let's talk about your gear real quick. Now, I see you're playing an Olympic bass. Tell us
This-
a little bit about this guy.
I wish I knew more. This is an Olympic, it's a Mark King. Let's see if I can get any of this right. It's a Mark King model, and it has, I guess, what they call the smaller body. There's a name for the,
Well,
it's
the
smaller than
piece
this.
of wood on this thing is absolutely amazing, though. This is a quilt maple, for those who don't know.
I
And
didn't
it's
know
probably
that.
one of the most beautiful quilt tops I've ever. It's like almost three-dimensional.
Yeah, it's very nice,
Yeah.
and it has the standard, I guess, Signature Series electronics.
Right.
They make a fancier electronics thing for it.
How about amps? What's your current amp rig?
Well, this one, I have a few different ones. This is a Limbic preamp and a Stewart power amp, and then a Bergantino cabinet.
Rick, we're going to move on right now, but
I'm done.
Rick, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you started at, what year did you start playing?
God, do I really have to say?
Yeah.
When I was
I won't ask you how old you are,
years old, I've
because
been
none of
playing
us want to
since
know how old we are.
I've kind of been playing drums since I was 5. You know, I mean, in school band and
Yeah.
stuff. But I actually started playing in a band when I was 15.
But you had something going. You
That's
told me you had something at 19, and I don't think you
Well,
can
yeah,
get
I
any
mean,
bigger than that.
it was really weird. A lot of stuff just really happened fast for me, and a lot of stuff just happened fast for me, and I suddenly find myself at 19. I was in a band called Daily Bread that played at the Oakland Coliseum. We basically backed up Chuck Berry and did some other people. So
At
I found
19
myself
years
at 19
old.
years old playing at the Oakland Coliseum
Yeah.
with Chuck Berry. It was really, wow. My parents were really impressed.
Yeah.
You know. And I bought my first drum set from Guitar Showcase.
And what year was that? Again,
When they
without
had the
dating
small-
ourselves.
When they had the small house, when they were in that little house on the corner.
Yeah.
There. So yeah.
And who you're playing with currently now?
Well, I play with a lot of different people, but the gig that people know about that I've been in with, the longest is with Paul Williams.
Okay. And for those who don't
And-
know, he's a piano player.
Well,
and-
he's really just a lyricist, a
Okay.
composer. And
He's written
we
a
actually
million
have
and
a
one
gig
songs.
coming up. We got a gig coming up in October.
Uh-huh.
For the first time I'm playing in town, actually, at the Plush Room
Yeah.
in October. And then,
And you're a teacher also at SMI.
Yeah.
And in fact, my two sons currently take lessons from you, and they love you. They
They
think
did a
you.
great
They
job.
think you're
They
the
got it.
coolest guy in the world.
yeah.
You're even cooler. I'm not very cool at all. You are super cool. So, but how many students do you carry right now?
I'm carrying about 50.
50 students. Wow.
Yeah.
And and let's talk about gear a little bit. What do you have?
Well, this drum set has a lot of history to it.
It looks like it's been around.
Yeah, it's a weird. I was telling Haroon about it. It's a carbon fiber drum set, and I really like it because I can carry it in my truck and not worry about wood warping and stuff. But I actually got this from Frosty when I did a double gig with Frosty from Lee Michaels.
Yeah.
We were playing a double gig together, and he had an endorsement with this, and he actually had about 4 of these drum sets, and basically, gave me this drum set. And later on, it's got a baked-on finish, right? It's got a baked-on finish. So all these drums were done in a certain batch, right? They were all at the same time. All the shells were baked at the same time. And I was doing this gig and this orchestra gig in Toronto with. Is it okay if I say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
With Paul Williams, I was doing an orchestra gig, and I'm playing, and the percussionist behind me, I find out, is Marty Morell from Bill Evans' Live in Village Vanguard. Wow. I mean, it was amazing. I'm sitting there playing in front of Marty Morell. And anyway, I went back to his studio. He took me back to his house, and we hung out. And he had the same batch of drums. He had the same drums in different sizes, but the same drum set. These were made in Canada.
Yeah.
And he had the same drums. He was willing to sell them to me, but I didn't have enough money. And so I'm looking for Marty Morell right now. I've got feelers out because I finally saved up enough money to buy the others.
So Marty, if you're out there,
Marty
please
Morell,
call.
if you're out there, I seriously have been calling Toronto, New York. I call a bunch of people trying to locate him. But this drum set has a lot of.
That's great. And
history
it sounded
to
great too. You guys are doing it. Now
Yeah,
we're over
history
to Russ.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got started.
Guitar, my parents actually. They're rockers. They go to my dad's 60 and my mom's going to be 60 soon, and they still go see AC/DC and.
Your parents go see AC/DC,
Yep,
and
they're
how
still-
old are they now? That's a good one.
60.
The only band that.
Yeah, so I
generation.
remember going across the country, traveling twice in a
Yeah.
VW bus in the early 70s, listening like the Who's Next, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what got me started as far as liking rock music.
How about teaching? When did you get started teaching?
About 1991,
Yeah.
in a store.
And of course, you're again a teacher at SMI, Showcase
Yes.
Musical, and part of Guitar Showcase.
Right.
How many students are you carrying right
Between
now?
50 and 55, it varies.
And what style are you?
Well, mostly rock and blues, some beginner classical. That
And
kind of stuff.
what levels are they coming in at? Of the students
Most
that
of the
you have?
levels are beginner to intermediate. Sometimes they get some advanced players,
Mm-hmm.
but most of that, just beginner intermediate level.
Yeah. How about gear? Let's talk a little bit about your gear.
Okay, well, guitars,
you
on
got?
Hamer guitars.
So
I've
you
been
got a
playing-
couple Hamers.
Yeah, I've been playing Hamers since '91 exclusively. Actually, I just fell in love with the guitars. And
What do you like about it over, let's say, Les Pauls or Strats or something? What's the
well, the
advantage
Les
for you?
Paul is the weight. They're not so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You still have that kind of Les Paulish type of sound. I like them over the Paul Reed Smiths because they're not so mid-rangey. They're a little bit fatter, fuller sound than a Paul Reed Smith does.
What do they use for pickups? Do you know what
Seymour Duncan's. It's
they
a
are.
59,
Uh-huh.
59 in the neck and a JB in the bridge. And this is a special. It's all mahogany.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they would call a studio, I guess. It's the same thing, just it's got a maple top.
Maple top, yeah. It looks like the same pickup
Yeah,
configuration
yeah,
as
that
well
was like
on that.
91, 92. This
Yeah.
is about I think 93.
And you just like the weight is a couple pounds less than, let's say,
Yeah,
Les Paul.
Les
traditional
Pauls and
Les Paul.
stuff like that.
Yeah. How about for amp? I see you got.
Right now, yeah, I have a PV Triple X. I just got this, and I've
Mm-hmm.
been using this already playing around, and I really love the amp. It's like having a 5150 and a PV Classic in the same amp. So it's really versatile. It also has a solo boost for both channels. So if you want to kick over top of the band, you can hit the boost channel and it brings it up.
Yeah, and I don't know if we can get a picture on this. I don't know if we're able to get a picture on your
Pedal board.
pedal board.
Yeah.
But I see you got the traditional Super Overdrive by Boss.
Yeah, but
tell
it's
us
been-
a little bit about, you got the Voodoo Lab analog chorus.
Right, I got Voodoo Analog Chorus. The Boss pedal's actually been modified by Robert Keeley. It's a Robert Keeley modded one.
Yeah.
This is a true bypass foot switch that I use for that. And then I have a RC Boost by Exotic Effects USA.
Now, what does that do for you?
It's just like a little bit of an overdrive boost on the clean tone. So if you're playing blues and stuff like that, it gives it just a little bit of a grit sound to the tone. I have a Carl Martin 2-Fab phaser, and then I have also Crybaby that's been modded by Robert Keeley, that sort of thing. Also, it's got true bypass switch in it.
So do you have? You were saying you have a project you're working on right now?
Yeah, a CD.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want
I've
to tell
got
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's just something I got a G4 from Tim. And
Now, what's a G4?
It's a
Explain that to us.
it's a titanium laptop.
Okay.
17's laptop, and I had GarageBand, and I just started doing songs on it, and then here we are. I've got 11 songs, and I'm ready to take it in Hurns, mixing and mastering it for me.
Oh, that's great.
And it's just something that I've always wanted to do, an instrumental CD. So,
And when's that going to come out?
well, right now it's kind of on hold because of a home edition.
Oh, that'll do it every time.
being married and kids, and
Yeah.
home edition. And,
Now, going back way, I just want to talk about first guitar that I always like hearing when
Oh,
guys
my
with
first
their
guitar I
first,
bought myself was what they called at that time a Paul C's kit guitar, which is actually a Chandler.
Right. Paul
It
C's-
looks like the
Paul Chandler,
80s Charvel guitars, basically. It's one of those. And I had the guy, John Jordan's his name, he makes electric violins now, but at that time they didn't have the routed out things, and I looked in Guitar Player magazine, and Steve Vai was talking about how he has his bridges routed out so he can pull the bar back a fifth. I was really into bar stuff then.
Yeah.
So I had him route out for the Floyd Rose for me so I could do that.
Well, that is cool. Thank you, Russ. And let's get over to Haroon, our last but not least in the band.
Oh, shucks. I say that to all the girls.
Yeah, right. When did you get started? Tell us a little. Give us a little history.
Well, I'm the last of 5 kids, and my mom was a concert violinist. So, as any progeny of classically trained people, you had to play piano. And I was a bit of a nerd growing up, and I really haven't outgrown that. And you couldn't get any girls because you played piano. You can't really carry it
Or
with
violin
you.
either.
Exactly. And I was always eyeballing this torture instrument called the harmony guitar that was hanging on the wall in our living room. It's a cheese grater, so I kind of sliced my fingers like pepperonis trying to
So
play
you're
that
trying to say
thing.
the action was quite high.
Oh,
on
yes,
that.
yes. And eventually, I think my parents grew tired of watching the masochism and bought me a Zenith guitar of television fame.
And I can't say, I've been around a lot of guitars over the last 32 years, and I can't say I've ever heard of that brand name.
I have never,
another,
I've never
uh,
seen another. I've never seen another.
Neither have I.
And,
But that was your first real guitar.
that was my
that
first
was a second
guitar.
guitar, right?
That was my first guitar.
Right.
And
What was your first real guitar?
It was a Gibson SG,
That'll do it. Yeah.
and that was nice. It was a little, neck heavy, but besides that, it was. That's what I really cut my teeth on.
Now you're teaching at Showcase as well, SMI, and you teach electric guitar. Any other instruments that you teach?
Electric and acoustic.
Oh, you're doing acoustic.
But yeah, I teach bass as well, although I prefer to leave that to the experts.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I wish I could teach accordion and things like that, but I just can't play those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of demand for that.
Yeah, I think accordion's a wonderful instrument.
Yeah, I do too. Just like a pipe. What's the other thing that you see? The
Bagpipes.
You always need those in rock songs. How many students are you currently have?
I think somewhere around 20, 25,
right?
give or take. Haven't really kept count.
Yeah. How about style of music that you teach? Is it
Um,
what do you really focus on?
I'm more agnostic as far as style goes, and I try to concentrate more on the composition, the underpinnings of the music that you're learning.
So I think we're down. We got about, I think 5 minutes left. But let's talk about your guitar real quick. You got a Les Paul and your gear right here. Tell us a little bit about your gear and your amplifier.
Oh, it's a 68 Les Paul that I got in a bucket. It was some idea that I think somebody in the 70s were doing things that people did a lot of in the 70s and decided they were going to, dress up their guitar. So I bought this thing in a bucket from a good friend Keith Holland, and tried to restore it back
It was
as close to.
it was one of the really good luthiers in the area.
Yeah, and just tried to get this thing back up to snuff. It's, it's not too darn heavy and has more of an open tone than most Les Pauls. I got the matchless amp back there that, of all the amps I've had, I've seemed to hang on. I sold all the rest and I hang on to that one. So it's.
And how about your, what do you have for pedals?
Oh, not much. Just a wah-wah pedal, a little overdrive pedal, a delay that I got down there at Showcase, and volume pedal and a tuner.
And you're off and running.
Yeah,
well, we're going to finish this up with you guys doing another song. I think this is by you.
Well, it's actually it's by a project I work in.
Okay.
It's by Zenith Patrol.
All right. Good show. Well, go ahead, Honor. Thank you guys for joining.
All right, Dan.